The Frame Center Podcast.
All right, welcome to the Frame Center Podcast. So today, me and Scott are joined by two very interesting people. We got Bridget and Marci from Living Crue Magazine. We have recently started, kind of formed a partnership that I think we'll touch on a little bit with them, with the magazine. And I'm really excited to have them in. They'll add some interesting stories, and we can, hear all about the magazine. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. You guys have been up. Marci, you were gonna be on once before when Hanover days.
Yeah, with the start of this program.
When we started, I think that was when we were real early, but I think, we've gotten a lot better.
I was waiting for you to get the hang of things.
letting us mature a little bit.
That's a good call. Good call. Get all the bugs out, and then come on the show.
But, so, you've been in the shop for the Hanover days when we had that art exhibit. Personally, I think the magazine's great. I'm not a woman, but but it is a kind of female-based, women telling stories. And how'd you guys end up putting this whole thing together?
You want me? Yeah. So we actually, the name of our company is called the Waiting Room Media.
Yeah, I know.
And Living Crue is our first. Yeah. So Living Crue is our first product, and the Waiting Room is where Marci and I met at. The waiting room of our kids' karate dojo.
Oh, that's where it was. Yep. Okay.
What's the karate dojo?
Where is it? In Kingston. At Thurston Martial Arts.
Okay.
Yep. Shout out to Sensei Allison.
I feel like did they have a place around the corner here too?
Yep, they do. Yeah. That's right.
Okay, so it's just a different branch of it.
Yep, that's exactly right. We've actually both been in that waiting room too.
Nice. You guys aren't big karate. You weren't taking the classes. You were just waiting.
Well, she did train me in some kickboxing classes. Yeah, so she wasn't my sensei, but she was my instructor. I guess but she's wonderful, and we always enjoyed being at the dojo. But when you're waiting for your kid for class, you tend to just sit there and read a book or make small talk. As you been there?
Yeah. I got an 18 and a 10-year-old, so I've been there before.
Nobody tells you that's part of the job of parenting is the amount of
I don't remember
waiting
that being a part of the job when I was a kid. I don't remember the.
Yeah.
Never saw that part.
No, it's true.
No, that's true. I don't think the kids. I don't think we exist when the kids don't see us.
Yep, we're out of sight, out of mind.
Doesn't. Yeah, but we would sit out in the waiting room and make small talk, and then one day we stopped making small talk.
One day, I walked in. I think it was me who walked in, and Bridget in the seat. I sat down next to her. She said, "How are you?" And I don't know what had happened that day, but and there was something about the look on her face or whatever it was, and I just said, "I'm not good." I mean, and I thought that there was no other answer to that type of question. Hey, how are you? I'm great. How are you? And I don't know what it was. And she said, what happened? And the next thing I knew, it was an hour-long class. And I just kept talking. And it kind of started from there. But what was interesting is I went home and I was almost ashamed. I was embarrassed. I was like, I cannot believe I just told that woman
to open up and trust someone else that you have only met in, like you said, small talk. Yeah.
That woman.
I know. And I did. I searched for her on Facebook that night to send her an apology note, and I was going to buy her flowers, thanking her the next time in karate class, and instead, I walked in the next class, I had my head down, and she said, so what happened? It was and we just went on from there, and it was pretty life-changing for me. Seems like a normal, everyday type of thing, but it was amazing.
Trust is a big thing, to be able to trust somebody to talk about all those things,
Absolutely.
Do you have a therapist background, Bridget?
Yes, because I have two daughters. And I've been married 25 years, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, but it's, I felt the same way. It was really nice to be so vulnerable and unedited with someone. I also knew I could also quit the dojo if I didn't need to go.
This is
If
not
I was
important. We
so-
don't ever have to come back here again. Yeah.
We're gonna go to the other location from now on.
But it was almost like, what are we going to talk about this week kind of situation.
That's great, though.
Everything
Yeah.
from religion to politics to child rearing to parents, and we both have sisters.
Yep.
It became you can see what it became.
Yeah.
And COVID hits, and you know, of course, they're doing virtual karate. And one day,
And I had no social life because
God, yeah.
because there was no karate.
and I was so grateful I didn't have a social life anymore. I'm very introverted. Marcy's the
Yep.
extrovert. But my daughter and I went over to Marcy's house so she and her son could play. And Marcy's husband brought the space heater out to where we were. We stayed 6 feet apart, bundled up because it was winter. And I don't know, 2 hours later, we were planning out the magazine that we were going to create. And 9 or 10 months later, the first issue came out.
Okay. Now,
That's how simple it was.
That's awesome.
was there much did you both have backgrounds working in magazine? I mean, I can tell that I know that you're a designer, you have someone that can sell.
Yeah, you seem to
Yeah.
know what you're doing
I
with
didn't
this
know
one.
if
It
that
seems
was
pretty good. so.
Yeah.
But you both had magazine backgrounds.
Surprisingly,
Had this come up in the conversation?
Yeah. Yeah.
it did, and I think when it comes up in the conversation, it becomes part of the bond
Yeah,
that you
sure.
have with somebody. Bridget was a former editor and art director for magazines, and I sold advertising.
Yep.
Oh,
My
okay.
whole career for first for radio and then for a trade magazine. So it naturally came together. We said, every woman should have this opportunity in this format, a place to tell their story.
Yep.
That's just unedited. That's their story. This is the way it happened to me. No one else telling their story
Yep.
for them. And then we were like, wait a minute, we
Their own
could really
voice.
do that because we together are this match, and we go together and we could actually do this. And I remember going to bed that night and going to bed, and I'm like, Bill, I think I just launched a magazine today. And he's like, excuse me?
Are you sleeping already? Is that talking in your sleep? Yeah.
Very matter of fact, I think it's the same thing too.
Yeah.
To my husband. So Marcy and I are gonna do a magazine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good to have support, yeah?
Yeah.
It is.
I think the next morning they both realized what they, in their sleep, maybe it was good timing on our part that they
Yeah.
were both half asleep.
You broke it to him at the right time. Yeah. You didn't have to drop the bombshell on
That's
him. yeah.
right. That's right. But we were living proof that what we wanted to give our readers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we developed a late in life, solid, lifelong friendship based in authenticity. And
Yeah.
so knowing, we were just saying, it's so hard to find someone's story that's not canned PR
Yes.
or
Yep.
written by someone else. Whenever I hear somebody else write an article and say, so-and-so felt this way and then decided to, but how do you know?
Yeah.
Did they
Yeah.
tell you? Because if they did, I want to hear it in quotes.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Don't take their story.
Edited,
and-
filtered,
yeah.
changed
I
to
don't-
fit the
to fit their style guide.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have, that's where the second half of the pink chair logo
Yep.
comes from. When we talked to our logo designer, we said, we met in a waiting room. That's the name of our company.
Yep.
Maybe chair would be appropriate.
Yeah, I
but
was
also,
wondering where that came from. How
Yeah.
the pink chair design was the
Yeah.
the icon that you're going to be known by. So
Yep, it's our Nike swoosh.
there you go. Exactly. I like it.
And
Seems appropriate. What about the
Much more
name,
comfortable.
Living Crue? Where did that come out of?
that is okay. So we're talking about authentic and raw. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
There were 35 other contenders before this one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Every single contender before this one was trademarked or copyrighted as
Yep.
another magazine for women about storytelling.
Okay.
Whether or not they've existed doesn't matter. The fact is, if they
Yep.
got there first,
Yep.
35. I think at one point we went through the alphabet, right?
We did. We did.
So when we were talking about the format, where it's from your seat, it's first person perspective. It's about life. It's about living real, living raw.
Yep.
Crue, the way we spell it, is French, meaning raw.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I also liked it that it was a crew. I mean, it is like a double.
A grouping of
Yeah. And then I started going, you can become part of the crew, live
Yep.
this way,
I like
be
it.
this way. So
Well, I think that's great. I mean, when
that marketing
when
aspect.
we first talked, I mean, like Jen had brought home, and I was just, I mean, this is like, we're not as selective. We don't only deal with women, but women make up a big part of our audience, and because I think sometimes some guys are a little bit more intimidated to make design decisions. I mean, not that they're not plenty qualified. I mean, we have plenty of, but it just seemed like they'd hit a big part of our demographic. Seemed like very like a big crossover, and And I also it was sat on the counter for not the counter or the coffee table, and Jen was really excited. She was talking about you guys, from some networking events, and they're great, and I just was like, this is what I want to be a part of. I mean, we've kind of transitioned here quite a bit as far as how we advertise and trying to go towards a little bit more of a higher end market, or make it more about our skill set and like what we do. And we've also lucked out because we have like very talented social media guy, very talented photographer who can help put together those type of ads. And like going to print ads is the transition I want to make, and just like here we are.
I mean, a print ad for Frame Center it has to be fabulous. I mean, you're talking about framing prints, framing art. So the transition onto the page is beautiful, the way that you have done it. And it's we're proud to have it in our, it just matches in the pages and goes with the flow. But what you've done with your social media and the way that you've gone more of a lifestyle type of advertising route, it's fantastic. Your people, I think, are really feeling like they're part of what it is that you're doing every day. And I would take your puppy home if I could, because any advertising with a puppy, it's like, that's just the best.
I'm telling you, we need the dogs of the Frame Center calendar. We need to have that, meet up. There's enough of us that have them. We'll just bring them all in.
I'll buy it.
We're going to have to get Mandy back. She hasn't been in a while. She's getting a little bit bigger, but she's also more destructive.
She must be full puppy at this point. But getting to know what you do behind the scenes, I mean, I just brought home a piece of artwork that is part of my family. The person who painted it has passed away, and it's one of the few paintings that we have left of hers. But so I want to hang it, but in my mind, it's like handing over an heirloom. And so to have seen what goes on in the background, watching you and what you do, and who you're associating your business with, is really big. It creates a trust of me to be able to say, I'm handing this over to you, and I know.
That. We want people to be comfortable with when they come in here. They don't feel like it's just another corporate business that it's just here to take your stuff and get it out and get it back to you. We've had plenty of people who have asked us, like, I know it's not easy, but do you mind if I take the piece back home with us afterwards? And it's like, we'll double check all the meamerements. We'll get everything set up, whatever is comfortable for you. It's just getting it done the right way is important.
We have a great team. I mean, Scott, you've been here with us for about
8 years.
8
almost,
years. I mean, Mark, Dina, 20 plus. I mean. It's the same people, and I think that in some places, I mean, you want to bring something, you're going to send something out in the mail, like some of these online places. Like, where's the accountability? I mean, the building is. I had a conversation with my father earlier. He's talking about someone that was looking for a deposit from him for a project ages ago, and it's like you don't think I'm going to pay? Like, I own this. We own this building. We own this business. We've been here for a long time. There's accountability. You don't have. You worry about a deposit. I'm going to give you the deposit. Like, how do I know you have anything? Like, you're there. You can come and make an attachment or do something if you want to come after me. Like, I'll give you the money and you disappear. But I think that accountability. Not that there's any reason to be accountable, but like I think that trust falls into customers and it's appreciated.
We're learning that, I think, in our company too. I mean, we're only 3 issues out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have advertisers from our very first issue.
Sure.
So we had to sell a concept. Marci had to sell a concept. That's her lane.
Yeah.
And so it says a lot when you go to people, women entrepreneurs, women business owners, and say, we have this idea that I think is going to take off. And do you want to invest in that with us? And for the overwhelming response to be, yes, sign me up, from the get-go is very telling about our mission having a place that is very much needed right now.
People believe in the idea of it, and that's the thing. I'm sure also trusting you with the stories that they want to tell and the things too. That's another part of it, It's like you said, it's a little bit of bearing your soul in these magazines. It's to trust you to write and have the articles out in a way that will represent them properly, and like you said, not cookie cutter it and filter it all out to the point where it's basic information that doesn't really mean anything. Is important.
And it is, to your point, it does mean a lot to our readers, and the reason we know that is because they're calling us, they're texting us, they're emailing us.
Yes.
Every single issue. Every month between the issues, we had one of our storytellers said that someone came up to her at a soccer game and said, "I saw your story," and I was really impacted by it.
Wow.
The art, I mean, you're telling stories through art as well. We have that entire section, which is sponsored by the Frame Center.
Yep.
And there are so many stories in every picture that we put in there, too. And we do that because we know that some of our storytellers do better with a paintbrush or a camera than they do a pen or a pencil.
Yep.
And their stories are just as valid and necessary to put out there. So we know that there's a void out there for women. They want to see themselves, but they don't want to be the one to put their story in.
Yep.
So once they see other women telling a story similar to their own.
Oh, I'm sure, it opens it up for other people to experience the same thing.
That's right. They experience
feel
the same
safe,
thing.
right?
Or
Oh my gosh,
I mean, the feedback that you get from the people when they're telling the story, they feel like they're,
they're seeing themselves.
Yeah.
They're connecting with the storyteller. And there are a few times where we've heard that there's some stories that a reader hadn't thought about it that way, hadn't considered that perspective. So, as far as our mission of creating solidarity and empathy, I think that we're really hitting the nail on the head with both.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, like I said, I'm thrilled about our partnership and in that approach. And print ads to me are they're tricky because do you know if you're getting a response? And it's like, to me, it's like, well, I don't even care. Like it doesn't matter because this is a group that I want to be associated with. Like Marci's been a pleasure to have over. We had the pink chairs here; they were a big hit.
They were a big hit during the Hanover days. A lot of people loved. They wanted their pictures in them. I remember that. A lot of us working overtime during that.
It is fun to get people in there.
An interesting thing about print, to your point, Dave, is we're all very hyper focused on social media, and I can see exactly how many people clicked through. And absolutely, who doesn't want that? You're spending dollars. And they're hard-earned dollars.
Yeah, you get instant gratification of knowing that your article or somebody saw it.
We do it also. We just did an entire review of our traffic on our website, and you have to. It's today's world. I do think that the print part, the billboard part, I don't know TV, but that's the getting the logo to resonate in your mind. That is placing your brand in conjunction and in places that your end user would want to be. You're incorporating your business into the fabric of that person's life. I hate that. That was cheesy. Is that like an ad campaign?
Get your magic notebook.
Is that cotton or something?
Yes, it is. It is. I was like, I had to think of that myself.
It shows that I watch the commercials and not the TV shows.
That's the marketing side. It's the marketing side. It's okay.
But, there's so much, especially, and I love this evolution. I sold advertising for 20 years, but the evolution now is where is this company giving back to?
Yeah.
I'm buying one, giving one, or
Yep.
I'm the X percentage of each sale. I believe that the end consumer is really tired of having those ads thrown at them.
Yep.
And where you place your brand in support or
Yep.
in their lifestyle, it makes a difference now.
I think it is. I mean, so our whole campaign that we've been pushing lately is like we're supporting local artists, but with the flip side being like we've been supported by and we are supporting them. And again, like advertising with you guys, like maybe we don't. I would assume we're getting a great response, but even if we didn't, I'd be like happy to be advertising with you guys because I like what you're doing. I like.
The
I think
mission's right.
the mission's right.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to say it's not like you're donating, but it's like you're a part of something, and like it's the dollars spent are going to help you guys get to the next level, and I mean people have options too, like as far as coming to a frame store too. Like, I mean, I'm sure you can find a frame. I don't think it's gonna be as good as ours, but if your bottom line is like I need this 16-20 frame, a black frame, and you don't notice the difference, maybe you are better off buying it online.
Yeah.
But you can come in here and take it off the shelf, and you can support our business, and in turn support the local economy because when we support things like
goes
are
back
these
out into the
online
rest of the
companies, helping your fundraising for your organization, are they donating to these causes?
Look at how far back this goes. We're talking the, brand association and affiliation is something that obviously we're all dealing with today.
Yeah.
Whether it be sneakers or apparel, you don't want to be associated with something that doesn't have a good reputation.
Yep.
But that isn't new. It feels like it's new to a lot of people. But think of what are some? These are really bad examples, maybe cheesy examples, but actually good examples. Go back to. Do you remember the movie?
fabric of your life?
It is in the fabric of my life, and I'll actually. It's one of my favorite movies from the '80s. Does everyone remember Mr. Mom?
I do.
Mr. Mom.
Vaguely.
Yeah, it was
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton and Terry.
Terry Gard.
And she worked for an ad company.
Schooner
and
Tuner.
Yes, and do you remember what their thing was? Their
The Tuner
thing
with
was
the
again?
Heart.
Tuna with a Heart.
Scott's a movie.
I'm the movie guy.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm the resident geek and movie guy.
That
No,
was
it's good that you're going to like this
I
next
have that
one.
movie on Blu-ray and DVD at home.
You're going to like this next one, though. Okay, you ready, Scott? So, speaking of tuna, let's fast forward a few years later, and we're at Lethal Weapon. And what does the whole family scream when their dad starts eating tuna?
You can't eat tuna.
Yeah, you can't eat
They're
that
catching
brand.
the dolphins in the nets.
Right.
Only albacore is safe.
Right. So
yes, now I can go through that.
It's just coincidence that it's tuna. But my point is that even back in the 80s, it was, you can't have that in the house because I don't want people to know that we eat something that destroys the environment.
Yeah.
You can't have this because, or you do want this particular product in your house because when you see this in your house, you know that we're supporting, Americans trying to beat the recession. So brand affiliation is something that is not new. It's just that we're seeing it on the flip side. We see companies trying to disassociate themselves with certain brands that have
Oh my God,
bad.
how many people drop people so fast
Yes.
lately?
Cancel
Kanye West
culture.
just got dropped from, what was it, Adidas and several other ones lost billions of dollars.
Many, but and that's the point I was trying not to say because I wasn't sure if we should.
Well, I can edit that out, but I mean,
like-
really, it's. I don't think he's going to come for us.
scares
Although he
me.
could, you never know.
I'm trying to
It's
make
a good thing of saying they went too far. And there's accountability now for a lot of things, and having yourself associated the right way with the right group of people is very important, especially when it's newer.
And that's what I'm saying is that we're not just a vehicle to put your ad in. You're trusting us with your reputation as well. When you put your brand message in our pages, we have just as much of a responsibility to make sure that we're not offending. And Marci will tell you that we have spent countless hours with our advisory board making sure that our style guide is constantly evolving. I'll share, Marci and I have been talking about this a lot. I just went to see a seminar with Stuart Ting Chung, who was great friends with Desmond Tutu and fought alongside him during apartheid. And one of the video clips that he shared with us was an interview where someone has asked Desmond Tutu, Archbishop Tutu, you must be exhausted. And he said, it's the big stuff that I can, fight. You can see these big things that we can fight.
The stuff coming at you, yeah.
But it's the little nuances that start to eat away at you. Like even just saying I'm non-white. I'm not non-anything. I'm not a non. Mm-hmm. So, and I went, oh my gosh, I got to put that in our style guide. It's making sure that we are being responsible with our words, responsible with our messages, that we're being inclusive and passing that responsibility on. I have a lot of discussion with my readers about the responsibility of being a reader. We can only go so far, and it's up to the reader to take the torch from there and read responsibly and not be destructive with it.
Oh yeah, heck, the paranoia for me just trying to write an email to somebody sometimes. I have to reread it 5 or 6 times just to make sure I went through and said everything correctly and didn't say, oh no, we got to change that. That's not going to go over well. That could be mistaken. That could be taken wrong, and you don't mean anything by it. That's why text is dangerous versus speech. There's inflections in speech that aren't there in text. So
I think that speech can be just as dangerous because you don't. And it shouldn't be a paranoia. It should be, and that's what we're trying to do. Is
the last thing I want to do is insult anyone or make anyone angry after what I said. But again, things get taken out of context.
It's all about intention.
Wrong. Yeah.
It's all about intention. There's no intention in saying something that may land wrong on someone else, but it's the dialogue that comes out of it and the changes that are made from that. The little nuances, the little subtleties.
And tones. Yep.
Those can make a big difference. And I don't know how we got on this discussion.
Yeah.
Marci's laughing at me.
I'm not at
It's
you.
the fabric of our lives. That's how we got on
I'm
this.
curious about so you guys have an advisory board. Now, how did it evolve from the two of you being in the in the waiting room to a whole team? Because I see that I've seen at the beginning, and actually Laura was one, she does some copyright for us as well. Coincidentally, I'd already been talking to her before I'd even met. Just another one that Jen threw my way. She's like, I told her I was looking for something, my support team at home, and she was just
do good things,
and she was just like, I think that this person, I think I'd run into some issues with some people I'd tried to work with before. It's just not good. It wasn't a good
back and forth.
Good, yeah. And she was just like, I bet you if you talk with Laura, she's like, I think she's right up your alley for somebody that will understand what you're trying to do. And
the power of people is it's mind-boggling to me, because really all of this started in one of our very first stories was I have a bad back. I was on a massage table. I was making conversation. The woman was hurting me while she was trying to fix my back. And I was like, but it's like, just saying whatever I could. And I said, I'm starting a magazine and here's what it's about. And she said, I have a story to tell. I've been looking for years for a place to tell it.
To have it, yeah.
Super personal. That happened. And then she introduced us to the next person who introduced us to the next person. And I think I was floored, and I knew that we were, not that we were going somewhere, but that we really had something special.
We're needed.
We were introduced to Lahaja Faraha, who is the
Vice President of DEI at the Washington Post.
Oh, wow.
And we were asked her to come aboard as in our advisory capacity to make sure that we were serving everyone. And she overwhelmingly, with passion, was like, yes. And I was like, I had the chills from head to toe. And so that's really the majority of how people have come to us. And we do feel like people have come to us, which is amazing. It's an honor. And to say I'm working with somebody who is vice president of DEI at the Washington Post, there was a certain point where I'm imposter syndrome, whatever it is. Really?
And we have Barb Chan, who is the founder of Cool Looks, which is a fashion app, but also a software tool, DEI software tool for Fortune 500 companies. And she's an extraordinary human, and she has come to us with a perspective that is irreplaceable and unique. And we have Alicia Kelly, who is a premier social media and PR and communications manager for the nonprofit side of the South Shore, many different associations. So we have this powerhouse.
Yeah.
That covers every aspect from social networking to style guides and just general communications management.
Yep.
And they have come in handy.
Very important. Yeah.
I don't think that we realize the enormity of the need for advisors from across the board for some of these stories.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's interesting because I'm listening, obviously, but to bring it back, it comes back to expression, communication, putting things out there, right? Which is what an artist does,
Yep.
which is the worlds that you are in, which is now the world, expression of your thoughts, of your ideas, of your beliefs, and how powerful those are. Because when you start sharing and you start expressing yourself, you really do touch more people than you ever realize. So a piece of artwork that you just might think, oh, I was doodling.
Yeah.
You have no idea what the power is of what that piece of art can do. Words. And we had this conversation at dinner last night, surprisingly, that my husband and I were like, we think the downfall of society is actually the computer. They serve a fantastic purpose,
Yep.
but you always have a glitch. You're always fighting with it. Your anger level when somebody's misinterpreting your words. I typed in all caps by accident
God,
because
yeah.
the cap. I didn't even realize it. And really, it's just
You put a period at the end of your sentence. Are you mad at me?
exclamation point.
No.
How many
I
exclamation
double
points?
spaced. I put a period there. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's things like that.
Stop shouting at me.
But I didn't open my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing all the little dominoes that have to fall in line for everything to work out correctly. But it sounds like from what you guys have, you have a good, network of people that help make this a success.
It kind of, interestingly enough, so sitting here, it's Dave, it's women and people like Dave's wife who saw something, connected with it, and again, that thought from even an advertising standpoint became a fan.
Yep.
And I think that when you become a fan of something,
Yep.
you years and years ago, gosh, I can totally date myself. My first job out of college, was required to read a book by Dr. Sears, and it was called Raving Fans. Overall premise, it's been 20 years, so give me a little bit of leeway here.
Yep, sure.
But people are more likely, right, to talk about this awful experience that they had if they walk into a store. Like, oh my God, the person was so rude.
Yep.
And that's the dinner conversation.
Yep.
The thought process was give such amazing service or give somebody such an amazing experience that they have to talk about it.
Yep.
Create a raving fan of your business.
Right.
Yep.
And it's almost like that. Just by doing that, you create your own marketing campaign. Those people become your,
It's funny. I just started listening to this book last night.
Unreasonable hospitality.
Yeah.
The remarkable power, giving people more than they. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. So, funny.
Go back to this. Dr. Sears is
Yeah, a little
it's
small.
a quick read, maybe.
I
but
can't.
It's the basis for that one.
But-
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I've only started. I was downloading a couple books last night, and I don't even know where this one came from.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just get on to listen, because I'm not as big of a reader. I like to, listen.
Yep.
Well, you're on the go a lot, though. So that
I like to look at pictures. And
visual,
You're in the
visual
right
and audio.
field.
Yeah. But yeah, same thing. I think that like that.
Yes, very true.
And again, that's something that we're trying to do here too. Is like when you come in, part of it is an experience, and I think when you guys touched on like the social media, like seeing how things are done, finding a group that you want to be a part. You want to be a part of.
Yeah.
I was worried you guys wouldn't even let us advertise since I,
Because you were a man.
I'm
We
trying
don't
to find. Yeah, and
I get that,
and I
though.
think we sent one of your events. Dina went to because we have women that work here
Yes.
too, not me. And,
Yes.
They don't want to run a podcast with me. And
Yeah,
Scott,
they don't want to come up here and talk ever. I don't know
but-
why.
But yeah, I think that teach that service, going to the next level, and like blowing people away. And not to take away from your story, but like
No.
people are like the spreading like the word of like what a good job people do here, or like what a good experience they had when they came in. You know, it's hard to do. I mean,
Yeah.
some people do leave positive reviews, but
I often ask the people when they walk in, you know, if they're brand new, especially we had several today, it's like, how did you, you know, find out about us? Was it, you know, Google, or was it, you know, and I'd say a lot of time it's more word of mouth.
Yes.
And which is the best form of compliment I can think of. It's somebody took the time to recommend and think of us to send someone else here. And we've got families that have come, you know, the kids of the parents that came here, you know, in the 80s and 90s are now coming here with their kids' stuff and their things, and it keeps it going, which again I think says a lot about how we treat people here. You know, we got people that come in looking to work with specific people because they know they can trust. They don't have to talk about anything. They'll catch up. We know their grandkids. We know that it's a nice thing when somebody comes in and they don't go for a handshake. They go for the hug, you know?
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's.
yeah.
I don't want to make it sound too business-like because I know but every person who walks through your front door, right, is a potential marketer for your business.
Yep.
And you want to provide good service, and that's the primary, but there's secondary. It's the ripple effect. And so same thing, right? You read something and it's different. It made an impact. You want to have that wow factor. You want to create, and it's interesting, 20 years later, I still go back to that Raving Fans.
yep.
Yeah.
book.
It made an impact.
It absolutely made an impact, and I will
Download that one.
say
for
that it
you
was
go.
my first job out of college was at Jordan's Furniture.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they made furniture. Who makes furniture an experience?
Yeah.
I mean, they did that, and that was required by every single employee to read when
Yep.
they started.
Okay.
talk about an advertising
That's
company
nice.
or a person that markets differently. How many people have a 3D motion? Furniture companies that have a 3D motion ride.
I
and
was Jerry
Bluebird.
at Mom for a period of time.
The ice skating rink at a furniture store. I mean, these aren't things that typically you think of. Actually, you know what? We have an ice skating rink out back, if I come to think of it.
Yeah, you guys haven't seen
You know?
that. We'll take it back. That's how we end the podcast. You know? We go out back and see who can shoot hockey pucks. Yeah, no, but oddly enough, like that's something that I started doing like during COVID, like social media thing, which was a lot of that wasn't even crossed over. A lot of it was just my own like Facebook thing, shooting just like Claude had advised me to like start doing live videos. Like we got to do like, and I don't know. I mean, I didn't think people were that excited about frames, but maybe they are. But I started shooting like that, and it's just fun. And not to mention, like I think of the who you want to associate with this and that. It's like, I don't know. I mean, if somebody thinks that me shooting hockey pucks at my business or like having fun is like something that they want to deal with, like I wrote this note earlier this morning. Like I don't know if I want to do if that bothers them. Like I don't know if I want to deal with them. I mean, I'm not that I'm trying to be selective in who I deal with, but
Why
at a
not?
certain
There's nothing
point,
wrong
like
with
we
that.
do enough business that like. I don't want to deal with people that are a pain in the ass and ruin my day. Like, I want to come here. I want to have fun. I want to spend some time outside shooting hockey pucks. I want people to have an enjoyable experience. Now, I don't know if it's probably a bizarre thing, and I think I struggle trying to explain it to some of the people that work here because they don't all play hockey or... but I think that they realize I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And,
That's your thing.
yeah, and plus, not to mention, how many other frame stores have a hockey rink out back?
It's very true.
A shooting lane.
My marketing brain is creating your next marketing campaign, utilizing frames
Excellent.
and hockey.
Yeah.
Because you need to have all different size frames out on that rink, and you need to be hitting the pucks through the frames.
Oh, we have them tied up in the corner. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was right on.
Yeah, can either of you shoot a hockey puck?
Absolutely not.
We've had a couple like people shoot and they've got it's been embarrassing. We've had to hold back on the footage. We've had one that I thought there was going to be
creative
actually
editing we
two
can do.
that I thought were going to end in serious injuries.
Are you recording all of these?
Sometimes it's Elizabeth.
Okay, because
yeah.
I tell you, every single night I fall asleep to America's Funniest Videos.
I was just going to say, we need to
and-
get the rights to the Benny Hill music.
That's- yeah.
And then just make a bloopers reel of
Yeah.
some. This
Well,
would be great.
I happen to know someone who's married to a musician who could probably do a jingle or two.
Oh,
for
there
you.
we go.
But
See, that's what we're missing. Yeah.
get some of this. over to who's doing it now? Alfonso Ribeiro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Trust me, I watch it every Sunday with my kids. I get asked every Sunday, is the new one out? No.
I think it's important to let people know who you are.
Yep.
And I love that about business now. I feel like there's this aversion to the big box.
Yep.
And the online. It was great. It went up. And now, and I don't know if it was because of COVID. I'm not that smart to be able to figure it out.
Yep.
But I do know that coming out, I feel like we're all looking for personal connection.
Yes.
I want to know who I'm
Buying
handing
something
stuff
from,
over. I
working
want to
with.
know people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like still in the sense of accountability, right? Like, in one of the good things about this store, and like we have like a lot of different personalities, and we have a lot of it's kind of like everyone's a little bit different, but if everyone was the same, like it would be like, all right, now we can only deal with these type of people. Like we have multiple people that come in, like someone might work with Scott, and like he might have a great experience like helping them, and it might be a lot of fun for him. Whereas like if I ended up with him, it might have been like, oh geez, do I ever like I got something else I got to do. And then at a certain point, like it's like, all right, well I'm helping this many people, like so having different personalities, different tastes, because everything's so subjective. I think it's important, and getting to know like people through their social media, through stuff, just how they like see what they like to pick out, or like what they have at their own home. I think that helps. Personality and then taste wise too. So.
Definitely.
Some insight to some of to me, I'm going very hockey centric, and trying to push it onto everybody else here.
You're gonna be like the official puck framer.
Yeah.
On the South
I get some
Shore.
I tell you
ideas.
what, we deal with a lot
that a
of
thing?
sports materials to get framed and things like that, and it does help that we do know someone who knows about these things. And I just brought in today. We had somebody today or yesterday. It all starts to blend together after a while. But brought in their kids was at Cooperstown, and they brought in the jersey and the baseball and the baseball bat and the whole thing, and we're framing it all up. But we've had different teams from different professional sports. There's a lot that people want to have that's a good memory to keep. Yeah. So in knowing a little bit about that, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's right.
When in doubt, I go to Dave on that kind of stuff. If it's a movie or if it's a
Oh yeah, we framed a ton of guitars.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you some pictures.
Guitars, cymbals,
Tell
drums.
Bill he can't listen to this until after the holidays, the new year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, we
Put this on a delay till after Christmas. Is that what we're saying? Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll edit this out.
We've done a ton of. We had one guy who used to bring in guitars regularly, and so Mark's.
So you have somebody who's had experience.
Oh yeah, Mark's downstairs. I'll show you some of the pictures of some of the ones he put together.
20 plus years, he's done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And when I'm in doubt, I go to Mark on things like that. Mark and Dina, they both have been doing it for so long. They've seen a little bit of everything. So
you're going to go down there and find out it's Bill, who's been that regular customer bringing in frames. Going,
didn't
don't
tell
tell
you.
my wife.
But it's funny how it works
showing
out.
up on my wall.
Because he's like a musician too, and like so but I mean, I'm sure he I'm sure it's an enormous pain in the ass to do them. But I'm sure. I think that's like one of those things like when you're done, like we have pictures of it. That's even before social media.
yeah, we get the photo albums.
We gotta
digitize those somehow and get those in there for the records.
Yep.
But like some of those are they're pretty incredible. Then we were lucky enough to have a guy who was just apparently very wealthy and liked collecting guitars from people. They're
pieces of artwork.
Oh no,
my God, yeah.
absolutely.
Some
There
of
was the
those-
whole show at the MFA. There was the art of the guitar.
Art of the instruments.
Yep.
That was it was a cool exhibit. I mean,
Otherwise, every single
there's
piece
so
would look
much
just
that's
like everybody
art. I mean,
else's.
like the magazine is art. Like everything is in that. I think that's one of the other reasons why our partnership's been great too. Like that whole section of the magazine and like. I mean, that was on you. You're like, well, I think this is what you're going to.
It was funny. Dave and he emailed, and I have to tell you, it was one of the first emails of the type that I had gotten where somebody said, I would like to talk with you about advertising. I was like, I think I started crying maybe. But I was like, let me come and see you. And you were like, I'm not that difficult. I'm like, no, yeah, like I'm trying to give you a sale here. And it was, but it was like, again, like, what can we do to partner? Let's find a way to do things together. And I wanted to meet you because I wanted you guys to be part of what it was that we were doing. And sponsoring the arts section in the Just a Moment was so natural.
Yeah,
and
no,
it was
a
just
great fit.
You know, it felt so good to be able to say that there was such a synergy between the two.
Yeah, no, I like I said, thrilled to be a part of it. I like the covers are cool. Like this
the
next
artwork on those are great.
This one's a mosaic.
Yep.
It is a mosaic of the pink chair. Yep. It's always going to be a pink chair.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is great. I love that. Yeah.
And then
And they had a 3-dimensional sculpture on this. Was it the first one or the second one?
The second one.
The second one.
Is that the one that's?
That's
That one
framed
there,
here.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's actually a 3-dimensional sculpture of the pink chair made from pages of the issue before.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah.
And then the first issue, I asked someone who was a friend of mine who I knew was a painter to paint it. And then it turned out that she comes here. And again, it was like that community thing.
Yeah.
I always say the name wrong, Shana.
Shayna. And it was just...
I hear it right, so like,
Yeah.
then I can't remember.
It's spelled differently than what you would expect it to. But yeah, this cover is Ellen Bernstein. She lives in Scituate, and she just has talent. She's again a local artist who's never, I don't think gone out with her artwork, and so it's also a pleasure to give, as I'm sure you know, new artists an opportunity to put their work out there.
Is that been have you had a lot of people approaching you?
Oh, we have.
With like...
Yes. We have, somehow we got listed on Duotrope, which is a portal listing for storytellers of all mediums to reach out and submit their work. And so I think we have up to, are we at issue number 5 covers already spoken for?
Oh, wow.
We have a well of poetry, short stories.
Yes.
I was so excited to have Claude in this issue.
We're very proud of that. We're proud
it's incredible work. And it also started this new thing that we're doing where we're going to choose an artist each month to curate the entire art section. So Claude put together this entire art section. The next person will be curating the section. Who better to decide what's worthy of the theme in art than an artist themselves? So that will be really fun to see.
And you should get some nice broad different types too, depending on the artist, because they're going to gravitate towards one type or type of setting. So you get a nice spread if you spread it out between multiple artists. That'll be nice. Yeah.
My dream is to one year put out a book of all of the Just a Moments of the previous year in coffee table style.
That's a great idea.
Co-sponsored by the Frame Center.
I think we're already signed up, and and I think if we could, we'd love to. I think even the gallery space, like doing something down the road. Getting you a framed copy of there'll be another pink frame. I think that's like something to.
Absolutely.
It's fun to see the evolution and just to
Yeah,
you have to build that legacy, right?
We do.
It just takes time. Right.
We met upstairs here. Sorry,
that's
and I was envisioning, the pink chairs. I was envisioning events already, and it's just great. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and I think that the art-driven part is like a great fit for us. I'm glad that. I don't think I'd be as excited about a print ad if I just called someone up and I was like, all right, can I put an ad in your magazine? And it was like, it's $500, this much, and this is what you get. And it's, having it be like a significant part that's tied into what we do is so awesome. And the idea of you guys having something upstairs, working that up, that I think would be amazing. And
so do I.
And hopefully we can bring some sort of connection where it doesn't sound like you're needing any help finding artists.
But it's a fun teamwork project, isn't it? I mean, it's like you just said, it's legacy. This is this would be, the ladies with the pink chair and the guy with the hockey rink out in the back of the frame shop. That's our legacy is storytelling, art, and other.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I started the whole thing when I was sending people frames too, which another thing is like,
yes,
I think it's like pretty awesome.
Friday.
Free frame Friday, yeah.
Triple F.
Brilliant.
It was, it's fun, and like to me, like I went pushing it. Like, I think it was past like 2-3 years. It started.
It was a COVID project.
Yeah, so it was like, and like in my mind, I'm like, I
too.
can't wait to be able to say that I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like like
milestones.
And some weeks it's a pain in the ass, and like some weeks I have to like.
Oh God, I gotta run upstairs and get that done.
Yeah,
and then other
and
times
like
you
some
just
weeks
gotta
I've had
ready
to
for the
like
week.
put in more,
and
but
it's-
like I'm not going to get to 10 years tomorrow. It's just like just going to do it for 10 years, and like I have no plan on stopping. And it's like. It's gonna be like honestly such a it's a fun ride to get there, and but to think I've been doing it for like 3 years is like wow, that's pretty crazy.
It kind of flew by too.
You guys are having events
solid
where
amount
everybody
of time.
comes.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
free
and
frame
the
Friday.
recipients,
It drives my father insane because he's like, wouldn't give away anything. Like what are you doing? I think he's seeing it differently. I see, and like to like partner with you guys and just send, we'll hopefully this one will be received before anybody's listening. But like, to like get involved with other people and like to like. Now, like I have a source. Like every month, somebody might end up with a free frame with their, with their artwork on your magazine. It's like it's cool.
Yes, it is.
And and again, like I said, that's just like you're gonna build. I know it's gonna be a legacy. I know that I'm. Nobody's gonna be giving away free frames for 10 years except for me because like I'm the only one that's going to get there.
They're still going to be doing it 20 years.
Oh, I said
20 years
I started
from now.
sending that I send the kids free frames. I mean, it's just like it's some weeks it's challenging because I'm like, oh, I've already sent this person a frame. Like I don't really know if I care, And then I have people that help me like Jen, and with I have a couple other friends, and one of them actually wants to come on the podcast and talk about some of the people that like. Some that he's helped me a ton. Like he thinks it's like he gets it, like what my vision is, and like he gets it and understands like there is a slight marketing angle to it, and but he understands like what I'm doing. Like these people call him and thank him because like I write in the notes like Ross told me I should send you this, and it's very I'm excited to get him on the podcast soon too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
If you
talk
guys
about
got
that.
ideas of people you want us to send stuff to, always drop us a line of things if you want us to.
I have
include
a number that I would give you, and I would
love to get outside our normal group and expand this even bigger. It would be great. So.
And I would listen. I would be sitting there waiting for the podcast to drop, where you bring some of the past recipients on and talk to them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's I mean, some of the people that we've had on, I've sent frames to. I mean, and people seem to really like it. That was like a great.
You're creating raving fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the. I mean, I don't know. I mean. To me, it doesn't even matter because like some of the like the timing on things have been great, and like some of the feedback I get just makes me feel so good. And like that, like you were saying earlier, it's just like you're supporting someone. I'm able to send people free frames because I have enough business coming in.
Supplement it,
selfishly makes me happy.
Yeah, but you're also it's the whole idea of giving back that we're thank God the world is moving towards.
Yeah.
That's within your control. That's what you can give back.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're 3 years in, and 3 years is a long time that you've dedicated, and that's a lot of product.
Yeah.
From and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference.
Yeah, how nice is it to get an unexpected package in the mail nowadays? Most of the time we just get bills. So, to get a nice little package parcel that makes your day is a nice thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a count at some point and see how many.
See what you're at. Yeah.
Because I wish I had counted that like every one of them too. Because there's like significant ones that like numbers that would be fun. But like now, I'm just going on time now.
God, how many Facebook Lives do we have to go back and watch?
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as the dog's in them, I'll watch everyone and count them for you.
There you go. See, that's all.
We sent out a dog one this week. Yeah. fun. It's, in getting people to get involved and
That's it. We work with a shelter and we put a different puppy in it each week, and that's what we can do. We can help the shelters too.
That's right.
Yeah, so I think that we're all, I think you guys are
Yeah.
building a legacy, and I'm glad to hear you get a lot of people lined up to
Yeah.
with the art, a lot of stories that people want to tell.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so
That's our give back.
There you go.
That's our legacy and our give back. I do think that what we're putting out there, creating empathy and solidarity, is a gift. It's
3 magazines down, thousands to go.
that's right.
There
Our kids are gonna have a lot of work when this empire it gets turned over to them.
you go.
Yep.
I mean, that's something. That's also something to think about, though,
All
too.
going to the next generation.
Yeah,
right?
well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it influences them in
Hopefully.
the right way, and it
Oh,
makes
I hope
them
so.
better people growing up. That's how I like to look at it.
Me too.
Because this issue is called what? Connections? Is what
This
we're?
is the connections issue. Yes.
So
So each one will have a theme.
Yes, we theme ours on identity, relationships, community, and advocacy. Advocacy was a really great issue too. Some of the things that people are doing to help. Wow, yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
And the connection with Claude was a good one.
Oh my.
See, connections all
it
around.
rolled. Once I got to know Claude more, I'm feeling a little bit like celebrity crush here. I got to meet his mother and interview
Oh, we
her
haven't even.
for
I
the
haven't even met your mother
identity.
yet.
Oh my
Jeez,
gosh,
how's
Becky.
that?
She is strong. She's soft-spoken. I don't know how those two things work together, but they do so well. And she's beautiful. She in every way. And I want to talk more and more, but her story's coming out in the identity issue, so I
Stay
don't want to give it
tuned
away. You need to go to livingcrew.com/subscribe and read it for yourself.
Good plug.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Check that box.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to that's like another thing. It's just nice to see too. Like when I got the magazine yesterday and opened it up and saw Claude's stuff, I was excited for him. Excited to be like kind of like a bridge to for you guys to get introduced.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys are having, like you said, one after the next. Somebody's reading the story. Somebody's somebody reads the magazine and they're like,
Tell somebody else
knows that
about
somebody
it.
else has a story that they need to get out. I think it's it's
And it's
Perfect.
all over the country, so it's not just South Shore.
Not just
We
local.
have-
That's another good thing to know. Yeah,
yeah,
that it's not just
it's-
about this area.
The
It's
stories.
The
worldwide.
stories are fantastic, and I'll do
Yeah.
a not so shameless plug on our next issue. Yesterday, I spent another hour with country music singer Simone Reyes, who has a story like none other. She's an amazing person. Google her if you don't know her already. Listen to her music. She worked for Def Jam Records and Russell Simmons when it was first
Yes.
launched. But if you asked Simone, who is Simone, she would say, "Oh, I'm an animal rights activist and vegan." And I don't think anybody.
I like
would've-
her already.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then she's,
Musician afterwards.
musician
yeah.
and,
That's not how she
and
classifies
executive
herself.
producer. So it's the way people identify their themselves versus what we know about them is exactly what the identity issue is about.
That's
so
awesome.
I was just so thrilled to speak with her and learn more about her, and I think everybody else.
Yeah, it seems like you guys get some pretty big names.
Everybody's a big name in our book, but it
Yeah.
was really nice to be introduced to her.
Yeah.
Because it was it was nice to have that to get that connection in our pages.
And in your I don't know that much about magazines, but they the base of the people that are subscribing, they're all over the place. I mean, I assume the South Shore is a little bit stronger because
Yes.
because you guys
Yeah.
are here and
So we're hoping that it's organic growth. We're here in our backyard. We want our community to know that we're
Yep.
here. You can subscribe anywhere.
Yep.
But yes, the majority, if not the bulk.
Yep.
And I was laughing. A lot of the out-of-state subscribers are family.
Yeah.
Hey,
They're
family's
supporters.
the first
But,
person
you
that's
know,
going to support you on that
that's
stuff,
right.
hopefully.
That's
So
right.
the advertising
That's right.
right now does go and is South Shore,
Yep.
but we're little by little,
Yep.
the circles on the map might go.
Hey,
a
the
little
holidays
bit
are coming.
bigger.
People
Yep.
maybe travel with the magazine, bring it with them to
That's
family,
right.
and then it branches off into somebody
Well,
else.
that's
You
right.
know,
yeah, I'm
so-
sure that the stories that people, because everyone is, spreads out. And,
And we are
hopefully the timing will work perfectly as you guys hit the national
Yeah.
thing. We'll be at the level of being able to ship nationally.
There you
That's
go.
right. We are looking for sales
your next
managers.
location.
Yeah,
We
that,
are.
I mean, being that online commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting there. I got a social media guy who's working on websites now too.
And who
No, I
would
don't know
that
if that's
be?
my choice.
But we are looking for salespeople.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
Another shameless plug.
Thank you.
No, that's good.
That's
if you
3
need help.
boxes I've checked off. How many more do we
You
have?
really?
Marcy?
Yeah.
You're much better than I am. Yes, I am actually. I'm looking for someone to help.
Yep.
So
Nice. And people just find someone this interested can just email through the company.
I was gonna say, do you have a contact?
Marci, Marci at livingcrue.com.
Nice. And
Claude,
this,
since
you.
you seem to be everyone's everything, if you would also like to come work for the you can add
trying to poach
salesperson
our
to
social
web
media
photographer,
person.
artist, social media. Yeah.
how is it now? You guys, the social media that you guys do, it kind of is tied into the magazine too. Like, is it? So, you guys have a whole plan of attack on how you do that, or are you just winging
Dave's just
it?
poaching
Right
ideas.
now,
man.
we're flying by the seat of our pants. I
Yep.
will
Yeah.
absolutely admit that with social media. We are working on the print, solidifying it,
Yep.
like just really honing in on it. We know social media is there. We put it out there, but it's
Yep.
really all focused on the content.
Social media changes and evolves so quickly too.
Yes,
It's
it
hard to
does.
keep up with it. So it's good to have your base be your the
Right.
print be your base, and then
Yeah.
branch out from there later on. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how many
Yeah,
things
it's changed since we started doing it too.
How
so.
how many pictures of in-home stuff compared to how many videos of me shooting hockey pucks compared to like how many
What's the
many
golden
have
ratio
Mandy?
for?
how many have a dog and trying to like figure that all out
1 in
is
5.
because who you want to represent yourself as and like who you are.
We need a
right?
puppy
Like,
sitting in the chair.
And they take a lot of time.
Yep.
Just throwing out as now on the other side.
Yep.
It takes a lot of time to create a reel or
Yep.
whatever all these things, and it's up there and then it's gone.
Yep.
But you spent 4 hours or whatever
Right.
creating it, and it's tough to. Everyone says they're going to commit, 2 days of every month, and I'm going to create all of them at one time and then
Yep.
schedule them, but it just never happens.
Yeah, yeah, but we'll
Never
have
happens.
the Living Crew reel will be up later this week.
Don't do that.
That's the one.
My mother would be horrified.
Although I do find sometimes this is helpful in me teaching my children good music. My 10-year-old was in the seat next to me, and she was singing a song, and I looked at her. I said, "How do you know the song? This is like 1981.
Yeah.
I think it was like David Bowie or something."
Yeah.
She's like, "What do you mean? This is a Zoomerang song."
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
whatever you want to call it, I don't
Yeah.
care. The fact is that you're learning good music from
Yeah.
this social media. So I'm gonna give it 1 brownie point because now my daughter knows. I think it was David Bowie.
I want half of a brownie point on that.
Although I should have been the one teaching her who David Bowie was in the first place. So maybe, we'll deduct half a point.
Well, awesome. Is there anything else in the magazine this month that?
Yeah, we'd like to talk about or feature.
Every single
Everything.
story.
Every single
is
story, I'm sure, yeah.
mind-blowing. Yeah. I will point out that this month was really this particular issue was interesting in the way that the connections even to each story. 2 of the stories that are in there came to us by women who had survived breast cancer and how their give back to the women fighting after them. Both were about fashion.
Oh, okay.
One woman created a shoe line, Poppies with Purpose, and a percentage of the proceeds of these shoe sales go to fund breast cancer research is research done by women. And another woman took her experience and made a jacket that can accommodate all the drains and surgical tubes after a surgery so that you can get out of the house and go get your life back without having to worry about the drain. So it was interesting how both those stories came in connecting fashion and give back and cancer
Yep.
survival, but also 2 stories about friendships. 2 young women known each other their whole lives, got each other through, every up and down that life throws at them. And then 2 older women who were the other women's age when they met
Yep.
in a shopping mall food court, and they live on opposite sides of the globe, but they kept their friendship stronger and stronger by pen. Pen and
Started as
airmail.
pen pals.
Yes.
And so it was interesting to see those 2 stories that came to us about friendships.
Yep.
So that is the connections issue really brought a lot of the circular connection to.
Now, is it just you two that sit down and decide these are the stories that are going in, or is that
Yeah.
part?
Yeah.
So that what's the role of the advisory board? Do they you when you're ready to
Final
when
filter,
when have a draft? Is
Yes.
it then you bring?
Yes. Well, we use the advisory board more often than you'd think.
Yep.
Because we are asking women to be authentic and vulnerable, and some of the content could be a trigger to some of our readers, so
Yep.
we run it by them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, we want to make sure that we're putting it out in a way that's not offensive, that considers everyone's perspective, that it's inclusive, and that the language is not taking away from the message.
Interpret it correctly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The messages are important, and sometimes the words can get in the way. So that's where our advisory board comes in. Everything from a short story that may not resonate or land well on some of our readers to an article that could be controversial. So yeah, they are called upon quite often.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I mean, the whole idea, like I said, magazine ads are kind of new to me. Some of the ones we did in the past were kind of put together that not great. Now we have something. I think the combination of like the outlet for it to go out and like the having the right team to help put together ads, and I'm sure you guys play a big part in that as well.
Yeah.
People want to advertise with you guys. The other thing I thought about your magazine that was really well done was just like the ad placements, not like some other things I've seen in the past where it's just like page of ad, quarter page ad, everything's put in well. You find good spot for us with what our tie into that business. I'm sure that some ads probably fit to stories too,
That's all Bridget.
all Bridget. Yeah.
Well, I just think that, if you're going to make your ad stand out, put it on a page with a lot of words, which we hear a lot.
Yeah.
It's very wordy.
Yeah.
And it is. It's stories. But yeah, that's we're here to
Bridget
get your ad attention.
Has a talent of the ads becoming or almost looking like they're part of the content.
Yep.
So you're not skipping over like, oh, there's a page of ads, skip. It's
Yep.
you kind of go, it flows. So you're reading through the ads as well as part of the content.
Yeah, well, that's important, right? You want people to get, you want someone to advertise with you. You want them to have success,
Exactly.
right? Like that's important. And
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
proper
right.
ad in the right places is important.
right.
Like you said, if someone's having, say, it was a problem with weight issues or things along those lines, you're not going to put an advertisement for Bob's Taco Stand on
Exactly.
the same page with it. It really doesn't fit the idea, the motif, But
Yep.
yeah,
Association.
Yep.
We talk about that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
is that part of the idea too? Like who you approach to?
So yeah, I mean, we need advertisers.
Yeah,
Everyone needs,
Yeah.
but yes, when I'm out and pushing out instead of it I want to know that the products feel like a connection and are going to resonate with the readers because again, we're going for success.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
a reason behind the marketing as well as the people you go for towards the marketing is not
Yes.
just at random.
Yes.
Didn't just.
I have a terrible
you know.
example, but like I wouldn't, somebody for erectile dysfunction may want to spend money, but it's just not going to resonate with the audience. So
Yeah.
that's a tough call and a totally inappropriate statement. And I'm sorry.
Right,
but
exactly. There's enough of those commercials on TV anyway.
Couldn't think of a different example.
Yeah.
No, it's a good one.
You
'cause-
can fix that in editing, can't you, Scott?
oh, sure, yes. Insert ad
Edit
here.
that out.
I know about editing.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Well, awesome.
It's fun,
So one of the things that we try to touch with everybody, when they come on the Frame Center podcast, is we like to ask them about something that you guys have framed at your at home, and what it is, and then we try
what's
to
on
ask
your
you,
wall
what's
question.
on your wall question. And we, much like you guys telling stories, I have this like theory in my mind that like for selling art and for people having stuff framed on their wall, like there's a story behind all that stuff. It's one of the things that I want to do that we're working towards is like doing. I want to start at my house and like tell stories about like the significance of the paintings or that I have purchased, and even still more than that. It's like I feel like every frame, like it has a story. Like there's something behind it, and it makes it more interesting. And that's what we're trying to push is like original art or things that have meaning to them. And what is that meaning? And I think I'm going to do like a series, and I'm going to tell a story behind all the pieces I have, and maybe it's interesting to people, maybe it's not. I don't know.
I think it would be.
But and then I kind of want to like go into the next step and like have like go to people's houses, kind of like they have this like MTV Cribs thing in my mind that is just like about just the artwork, kind of like a specialized thing, and like have people tell the stories of it, because you see like kids' artwork that's so and like it's significant. I mean, I have paintings that are, like at my house that are like that I bought, and like there's that tie with the artist. Like I wanted that, and explain why I like them. I think it gets people potentially into that mindset of buying art, or like being afraid, like kind of like explaining why I like something, and then I mean that's right, or I like it because of this, and then it starts with more conversations, maybe more people talking about art and what they like about art turns to more people buying art.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not even sure where I was going with all this.
What's on their wall?
What's on your wall? Yeah, so you guys are going to tell the story behind your paintings. Sorry.
I have a lot on my wall.
Yes.
But I think my favorite is a paint. It's not even done, actually. No, because it's not framed. You want to know what's framed. What's not done, I will tell you really quick. What's not done is a collage project that my 10-year-old and I are working on together, using her old artwork from preschool that every mom feels guilty about throwing away. I have a huge 30-gallon.
Why isn't it on the fridge anymore? Yeah.
Well, I put it all away, and now we rip it up and make it into collage of the ocean. So that's beautiful. But I think my grandmother's quilt, a section of my great-grandmother's quilt, is probably my favorite piece. Yeah,
it's funny you talk about tearing up the stuff. We had Karen Cass on, and she
love her work.
So she came on to talk about like a certain project. She had some stuff upstairs, and then she got connected to this guy who was a customer of ours, and she ended up doing like a commission for his place in Boston.
I went to that opening.
Did you go to that?
Oh my gosh!
The common threads.
That was amazing.
But some of the she was talking about how like some of the stuff she used was like, because her stuff is like a collage type stuff, was like old paper,
the old sewing patterns and things like that. There were
but
like
old,
tissue.
some of her daughters, who was also like
textiles.
They, like some of her stuff kind of got weaved into the whole thing.
It was incredible, and I'm with Claude. The first piece was definitely the one that I still picture in my head. I have it memorized. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's great, and I think she's another. I mean, people keep coming in here, and I'm like, hey, I'm like a spokesperson for you guys, because there's like.
There's that word of mouth
Janine
again. Like
was
I said,
in. I was like, you should advertise. This is a magazine. You should advertise it. And like Karen, I'm like, you should reach out to these people, because like your stuff is like great, and you probably
and no pressure on you, Karen, but I did send you an email about issue number 5. Did I get close enough to the mic for that one?
Yeah. Let me just turn the volume up a little. And no.
And it's fun to see like some people we know, like seeing Shana. I was like, I got a mental block. But seeing her, hers on the cover was really cool. I was excited to send her the frame. And seeing artists in connections is awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
You have good stuff on your wall too. Oh my gosh, some of it's not entirely framed yet. Like the one you got of your aunt, the abstract.
Yeah, I just got a picture that I remember being in my grandparents' bedroom. So I remember their whole lives, it being in their bedroom, and it looks like a sketch. And it's a sketch of a sleeping woman. And it was just always in her bedroom, and it was so peaceful. And being in their home was peaceful and safe. So she just passed away at 98.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things which I actually need to reframe
Yeah.
because it was hanging in our house for so long. But again, going back to what we talked about, so here's might mean nothing to somebody else,
Yep.
but here's this piece that's now in my bedroom
Yep.
that's so peaceful. Who do I hand it over to?
Yep.
I want it to be somebody who is going to think of it as being as special as I do.
Do you know anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna take good care of it when the time comes.
Yes.
Well, I think it was awesome having you guys in.
It's amazing.
I think
Thank
that
you.
fun conversation. I think what do we go?
We're at almost an hour and 20 at the moment.
Oh my
And
gosh.
again, like they kind of blast through. I think you guys would be great to have come back on
Thank
at
you.
some
Yeah.
point,
Love to.
especially when we have the
other
the
issues
Living
to talk
Crue
about, yeah.
exhibit up
Yeah.
here at some point.
Thank you.
I think
Thank you so much.
and if you guys.
This is amazing.
And when you guys are ready to get into podcasting too for Living Crue, feel free to come use the Frame Center studio.
Very true.
I think that I talked to Melissa about trying to do it. I know she's going to try to do an event here too for the
she is?
Girl Gang at some
Oh,
point.
Girl
down
Gang?
the
Oh,
road.
that would be fantastic.
Girl Gang's awesome.
Easy
Yeah.
setup. We can get you
Yeah.
guys all
We won't.
covered.
I'll have spies here. Send Dina and Elizabeth to that one. But
They're
Scott,
a good
Scott can give
group.
somebody a rundown on how to use the equipment.
Yeah, well, Elizabeth's already has used it a couple times, so she's pretty good about that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
on. And
great
if anyone who's
conversation.
interested, livingcrew.com
That's
is that reach out to you, find the right sources if they're interested in that
Everything.
sales job or the
Yes.
advertising with you, or
Yeah,
just
so-
finding out how to subscribe to the
That's
magazine.
right.
Yep.
Or telling your story.
Well organized website. I used it this morning.
Oh, thank you.
CRUE.com.
Yes.
Well, Scott's a master of this sort of thing, so he'll get
Oh, yes,
some
I'll
links and
add
everything will
keywords
be in
and
there.
Yeah.
all the different little
if-
things that we need to get everything.
If you do misspell it, CREW, it'll still go to our website.
Yeah, but don't tell me.
Okay.
Get it right. It's important.
Awesome. Well, Scott's going to take us out.
Everybody, thanks for listening.
All right.